So today I'm going to show you how I made better use of this space with the help of this item to make it look like this. Okay, so the design of this little corner shelf or this raised shelf is fairly simple. Now, since this is going to go in the corner of the desk, this is a basic triangle with a bit of a altercation in front here. Now, the reason for me cutting off these two corners of the triangle and making them a bit more these two pieces of the shelf was on the corners like that. Now, the simple reason for me taking these two off was because with the corners on, this total distance was wider than the width of my desk like this. So in other words, if I were to put this in the corner of my desk, this would be longer, like you could see over on this edge over here. It would stick over the front of the desk, and that I did not want. So I cut off those two corners to make it a bit more houseable on the desk, to have a bit more space to save. So how did I manage to get the measurements for these pieces that I cut out? Now, in the middle on top is the printer, that is my printer that I want to put there. So what I've done is I've only taken a piece of newspaper like so, and this is basically where the printer is going to be standing. This is the base or the foot piece, and that is going to be then in the middle. I drew a line basically from the middle of this edge to the corner there, measured the middle and the measurement. So this is the front of the printer. It will reach the back. It can go a slight bit over, which I did calculate in as well, because the foot pieces of the printer are not in the exact corners, they're a bit more inwards. So this can hang a slight bit over in the front and a slight bit over in the back, but these are the measurements I came up with. So there'll be a slight bit of space left here for cabling and so on at the back, and in the back, on the sides, whatever type of other items you want to place, or stationery, or whatever the case may be. Now, to keep it in the air, foot piece wise, what I've done is I've taken a couple of these basically foot pieces. This is all shutter plywood, so this is very, very cheap. I've cut pieces with a wider angle. This is 10 centimeters or about 4 inches, and the other side is 2 inches about, or 5 centimeters more or less. And the one of them, you'll see if I put them together like this, is only a slight bit narrower, and that is basically the thickness of the wood. And the reason for that I'll come to in a moment. So I've made 4 of these pieces. Obviously 3 are the same size and one is a slight bit different. So the idea with the shorter one is I'm going to basically put it on top of one of the other corners. So I'll put some wood glue in between. I'm using some wood glue over here, whatever brand or the reliable type you've got is very sufficient. I'm going to put some wood glue in between there, put some self-tapping screws in there as well. I will be drilling some guide holes to guide the screws before I put them in. And this one would then be for the back corner of the shelf, like this, which would stand over there once it's attached. And the other 2 pieces would then be for the front corner over here, and obviously the other one on this side. I'm going to put them without sticking over on the edges. In other words, you'll see there's a little bit of the shelf actually left in front here. After I've attached this, also with wood glue and screws from the top side, I'm going to basically just cut off those corners or sand them down to be even with the foot piece, which is quite nice. Okay, so after all that, this is basically the finished project. So, or the finished product. So, what did I do? Well, after it was assembled, I obviously used some wood glue between the legs and the tabletop here. I drilled some guide holes and put screws on top with the wood glue in between, obviously. Once all the back corners is obviously a 90-degree one, I put those together first before attaching it to the desk or to the tabletop. Once all the corners were on, I sanded the two corners of the tabletop away so that it's smooth with the legs. Looks very nicely that way. Thereafter, I filled up the screw holes as well as all the gaps in front of the wood here with some wood filler. After that dried, I just sanded it down a bit so it's nice and smooth again. And once that was dried and sanded, I basically rounded over the top side of the tabletop, or the edges, the top edges, and the front two parts of the legs. Now, I did not worry too much about the back parts because that's going to be in the corner, out of sight, out of mind, so that's not going to bother me too much. After it was filled up and sanded and rounded over, I then applied an oil stain or an oil treatment to the wood that's still busy putting in. It's still a slight bit damp, so this still needs to dry a bit. Once it's dried, I will install this or put it on the desk inside with the printer and so on top, and we'll see what it looks like. I will basically put a picture here so you can see what it actually looks like when it's in use. Now, obviously, you can see that this works a lot better. The printer is now on top. I've gained all the space on the bottom to put either whether it's a drawer for paperwork or whatever else space I need it for. This is appropriate height for what I needed it for. This is 40 centimeters, almost half a meter, but not quite yet. So it's not too high, not too low. Still easy to reach the printer on top once it's on the desk. So if you do like this project or this product and you do want to see more of this type of product, please let me know in the comments below. Also, like this video if you do like it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, also considering that as well. That would be greatly appreciated. If you also wish to support my channel, please have a look at the super thanks icon down below. So until next time, thank you very much, guys.